billions and trillions and billions of years that the universe, even the earth, and life as we know it on the earth has taken place. This is what they're teaching in our public schools now. This is what they're teaching our children, and this is what they would have you to believe. This is how man came about, that he was just this little cell, and this cell evolved into a little crawling piece of slime, and after millions and trillions of years, after we've crawled up out of the slime of the primeval whatever, that we begin or stopped our process of evolving into this. Like when you look at me, you see the end process of human beings. I guess we're still evolving into something else. Many of these evolutionists would have you believe. That is the definition of evolution. And then, of course, the second definition is the definition of the creationist theory, that basically that man was created by God, and this is a total faith position, just as evolution is also a total faith position. And I don't want you to become confused by that. If you would accept the creationist theory by faith, because it says in Genesis 1:1 that in the beginning God, well, we would accept that by faith because no one was here to see this actually take place in the beginning, and so we would have to accept the creationist theory by faith. Well, in this very same way, we creationists would say that you would have to accept the evolutionist theory in the very same way, because we were not here when this process of evolution took place. And so both theories, evolution as well as creation, would have to be accepted by faith. In a nutshell, the evolutionists believe in natural selection. In other words, certain species didn't survive and certain species did survive because strength determines this. Natural selection. In other words, the weakest objects did not or could not survive, but the strongest objects did through natural selection. Now, we have many men and people in history, governments and madmen primarily, that believe this to be so. Adolf Hitler was one of them. They were of the belief that there were certain peoples that needed to be exterminated because they were the inferior race, and that other races were the inferior race. And so we have this kind of belief system going around today. Natural selection, strength determines this. Whereas the creationists believe in purpose. The creationists believe in purpose. Not purpose-driven, but that God had a purpose, therefore He acted. In other words, why do we see things that has taken place in our society and in our world today? It's because God had a purpose, and He acted. It had nothing to do with natural selection. So, now we move on down into the next aspect of our study, which is the being of man. What is man, anyhow? What is he like? Well, it's very easy. Let's look at verse number 1. Number 1, man is a material being. That's the fill-in. He is a material being. Why is that? Because he has a body. He has a body. He is physical. Flesh, bones, sinews, blood, hair, teeth. We are physical. We can move within the universe. We are connected together. And God, in a miraculous, marvelous way, has placed us in this wonderful body, in a material body. So therefore man is a material being. You that are viewing me are material. Yes, you are. You can be felt. Okay? Now, we're physical. This is a very important teaching because if you don't realize that you're physical, then it doesn't matter then. You know, you can maim the body. You can torture that body. But, you know, what we want to do is, well, what I like to do is I like to take care of my body. It's important. I mean, I'm getting old now, and it's getting kind of difficult for me to keep this body intact. But I am a material being. I have a body, and I'm physical. The second part about that is I'm also an immaterial creature. I am an immaterial being. That's Immaterial. Now, what I mean by the immaterial, I have emotion, will, and intellect. I am an emotional creature. If I saw a little baby get hit by a car, I'm going to cover my face and say, oh, no, no, please don't let that happen, because I'm emotional. I have a will. In other words, I can choose whether to go to a movie or to read a book. And that will is usually, there's a certain part of it which is volitional, meaning that I have the right to choose what I would like to do, though God has some kind of involvement in this part of the immaterial being. And then I have an intellect. I can think. Unlike most animals that I know are instinctive creatures, men are thinking things. We think about our world, our life, and we are predisposed to respond in such a way as to bring glory to God. And so I am an immaterial creature. I have emotion, will, and intellect, and I'm also a material creature because I have a physical body and I live in a physical universe. These are very important principles that we're discussing here today. Students, very important principles. Because if you don't understand how important these principles are, what you're going to do is you're going to have a misconception about who you are as a human being. Now, some more important terms to remember about man, since we said that he is a material as well as an immaterial creature. There's something else about man. He is a person of asceticism. Asceticism. Now, this word is spelled like this: ASCETICISM. You know what that means? That means that the desires of the flesh must be repressed. If you're ascetic, you believe that there's a connection with God. There's a spiritual connection with man. This is a part of the immaterial aspect of man. Part of the immaterial aspect, since he has emotion, will, and intellect, he knows that he must repress his flesh. That's the material part of him. Especially as Christians, we must do that. The flesh must be repressed. That's the only way that the soul, because that's the key to asceticism. The key to asceticism is that the soul of man, this is the immaterial part of us. This is the part that's invisible, the part that you can't see, but the part of us that will go to heaven, the part of us that lives on forever. That the soul can attain virtue and salvation is only by pushing the flesh down. That's why as Christians we fight so much against our worldly flesh. That's why we fight